Hello and welcome, my name is Kyle FtW and welcome to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare map guide video. In this video we are covering the brand new DLC map, well, not really brand new, but the new DLC map that came with Season 3, Aniyah Incursion. This is basically a shrunk down, much smaller version of the original. And of course, like with these map guide videos, I'll show you sight lines, I'll show you routes, all sorts of other things like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. As you can see, here is the basic layout of the map. As you can see, everything to my left and right, outside of that red, is where the original Aniyah Palace is for the ground war map, but everything that's in the, obviously the map, is here on your screen right now. So basically the big central area of the map is of course the palace, which is where 99% of your action will be, and then of course all of the outlining areas around the map. Again, this is another sort of 3-lane-ish map. Not really, but of course you could consider it a 3-lane map if you wanted to. But let's go ahead and, as I said, let's go ahead and jump into this. So starting off here, going over to my left, as you can see, boom, the second out of spawn. Normally you could go all the way around the palace over there, but of course the second I go past these little barriers, boom, I am out of bounds, as well as over there as well. So the map is a much smaller, shrunken down version of Aniyah Palace. Of course I wasn't going to cover this originally, but I thought why not, because it is a different map, and you know, it's a little bit different, and maybe the Aniyah Palace map guide that I did at launch was not quite, would be a little bit different from this current Aniyah Palace map. So let's go ahead and jump into this, as I said. So starting off here in this back area of the map by the statue, this is an area that you might probably want to make a very quick trip once again, because most of the time you're going to be spawning over here and you're going to want to get into the palace, because that is where, as I said, 99% of the action is going to be. So again, this is a lot of open, empty space that you can kind of just use to traverse the map. Be aware of people down there, be aware of people up there, and be aware of people up there as well. For those of you who have played Modern Warfare since launch, you probably know this very well. If you're a very big ground war player like I am, obviously you know this map very well and have played it a ton of times. So this is probably going to be a very quick map guide, because a lot of you probably already know this map quite a bit, but for those of you who are new, that's basically why I am doing this video. There is a little doorway here that you can use kind of as a protective barrier from that little area up there and down there, but be careful, because running this way could get you shot in the side very easily. So what I recommend doing is coming through here, maybe either mounting your weapon on this, or just crouching and getting a nice accurate shot on the enemies over there. That's probably the best thing I recommend on this map when you're coming from this side. There is also another area all the way over here which kind of does the same thing. Be careful, because people will like to camp in here. They'll like to just sit here straight out of their spawn and try and pick you off from those little areas over there, so be careful of that. Now let's go ahead and talk about the palace, because in all honesty, the palace is basically the entire map, pretty much. And then I'll cover the left and right side of the map at the end. So let's go ahead and start off with the palace here. So coming in through this main doorway, be very careful, because enemies love to sit up here. And if you come here, you are putting yourself at a very big disadvantage, because you can get shot from this whole circle around there. You can get shot from up there, and then all the way around. Not from those wood things, obviously, but maybe if they had FMJ, they may be able to shoot enemies up there through that, but I don't know, I haven't tested that. But this is obviously blocked off. I think that's blocked off in the original, but basically you don't want to be down here. There is an objective down here, I think a hard point and a headquarters, but in all honesty you want to go up these stairs either here, or you want to go up these stairs over here. Honestly, every time I come into the palace, I will pop dead silence if I have it, because you can easily get around people, kill them here, run through here, keep your sights up, kill enemies there. But be careful, because this is a very popular spot for enemies to sit, especially if they know that you're spawning over here. So I showed you a way to take out these enemies from that spawn here, but if you're up here, you can easily take down enemies from up here, because, well, you have the high ground on them, and you are a little bit hard to see in this little area, so perfect to take out enemies. Now if we come around here, be careful, because enemies will love to come run through here. As I said, 99% of the action is in this building. So enemies will run through here. They may mount on these concrete walls here. They may come out on this as well, so be very, very careful when you're in this building because you never know where enemies might be. Again, here's another outlook on enemies over there, and you can come all the way out here and kill enemies that are running down this way, as well as enemies running down this way. But again, you're putting yourself out in the open quite a bit, so you will be a very easy target. Be careful because there is fall damage, and you can fall from this height and get yourself weak, so be careful about that as well. If you want to avoid fall damage completely, just fall onto these little these little water tanks here, and then you should be good. Now if we go ahead and jump over to the other side of the palace, this is pretty much the exact same thing. Be careful, look out for enemies that are down below you, and again, if you're down there, watch out for enemies above you. Again, the best way I recommend to go about getting into the top floor of this palace is to run through here, take a quick right, go up these stairs, and boom, you're good. Or if you go through that door over there, take a quick left, because again, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. I would never recommend that you go in through this doorway and then go to that staircase. Always go to this staircase, because by going through this way like this, you're putting yourself at risk to get shot in the side, shot in the front, all sorts of things like that, and that's just not good. So, next thing. These staircases, there are staircases on both sides of the palace, so you can get an outlook on enemies that are over there, and as well as enemies that are all the way over here. But be careful, because there will be, most of the time, there is an enemy over there as well, so be very, very careful when you're coming over here. You never know when there is going to be an enemy there, and you can, this will be a very popular gunfight. Also be careful, because people will love to sneak around from this way and climb up, and then take you off guard and kill you. But again, by doing this little maneuver, you are putting yourself at risk to get shot in the back. So again, be very, very careful about that as well. Now, we can go ahead and talk about this really quick. This again is just like over there, another little alcove area where you can get shots on enemies that are coming from all the way around here. You can take them out like that. But again, be careful, because you can get shot from a lot of places, especially because if an enemy, I'll show you here this in a little bit, they can walk a little bit farther and they can just have the top of their head showing. So that's something that you have to be aware of as well. Now let's go ahead and jump over to this next alcove over here. Again, this map is very, very similar to the original, but this alcove again gives you an even bigger sightline on enemies all the way around here. Of course, over there is out of bounds. In this current map, it's not out of bounds in the ground war map, of course, but in this map it is, so be very careful about that as well. But enemies can still come up those stairs as well, so be careful about that. Now let's go ahead and fall down without taking too much damage here. As you can see, I put myself one shot, which is never good. So, now that we are over here, we can talk about where the coalition spawns. As you can see, those red things indicate the boundary of the map, so obviously I can't go that way. And I don't think I can go this way either. Actually, it looks like I can go all the way over here. But again, there's like 0.1% of the action is going to be back here. Most of the time, all of the enemies will be over there in the palace or in the courtyard around the palace. I have never seen an enemy around here except for maybe a couple times. But by the time that I saw them, they were up here and they were pretty much easy to kill. So back here, maybe just call in a kill streak back here. There's really no reason for you to be back here in general. Just, yeah, it's just not a good idea to be back here. You won't get very much action at all whatsoever. But now that we have all that covered, we can go ahead and talk about some of the new little features of the map. As I mentioned earlier, you can get a nice little head glitch on the enemies right there. I don't think this will be the top of your head, but I think if you creep like that, you are going to be very, very difficult to see, and you can easily kill those enemies there. This is a very, very, very interesting spot, and will, most of the time, I feel will let you win that gunfight on the enemies that are up there. But in all honesty, I haven't seen too many enemies camping up there very much, because odds are they're going to get shot in the back, because that's kind of how this map is. You never really want to stay still on this map, because you can easily get shot and killed, so be very, very careful about that. But this is a very nice little, interesting little spot to get shot from if you're up there, and if you want to get a vantage point, taking advantage on those enemies that are up there, this is a very good spot to do that. Of course, this is here as well, which gives you an easier access, but again, you're putting yourself at a little bit of a risk. So again, I recommend this head glitch if there are enemies that are up there. Now, talking about this really quickly, this is a brand new part of the map. It's not very new, of course. This tent is here on the original, but it is blocked off, so you can't actually, in the actual Naya Palace, you can't run through here like this and get over here. This is all new, so in the original, you have to go all the way around these tents, and then back down to get kills on enemies up there. But in this version, this is an area that you can get through, which is super convenient because you can get back here to this head glitch, kill the enemies, and then you're good to go. So this is a nice little area as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about this building. Again, this is kind of the very far back. If you saw my Aniyah Incursion gameplay, I got shot from somebody that was camping up here, and I don't think that person got very many kills the rest of the game, because honestly, this is a very slow area of the map. There is a hardpoint in here, but in all honesty, if you're playing any mode but hardpoint, this is going to be pretty much deserted. Obviously, enemies will like to try and get around and try and get it up, try and go all the way around the map and get back up here, but for the most part, that will not happen. I don't remember this little wall being here on the original either, but again, that is another place that you can kill enemies from. Again, pretty much the same over here. Just be really careful about enemies that are up there, enemies that are head glitching over there. And again, keep your sights up because there is a little sliver where you can kill enemies that are up there as well. And again, pretty much the same map, of course. I already did a big in-depth map guide on Aniyah Palace, which was a pretty long video. Again, you can't go over there. And now that we have covered all of this, we can go ahead and talk about the final bit of the map. Again, just like with all of these other Modern Warfare maps, just be aware of your surroundings. Keep your sights up. Make sure you check that high ground. And odds are you will definitely succeed on every map in the game by just doing those simple things. Now let's go ahead and talk about this last little area over here. This is probably the best route to get into the palace. So I don't remember if these two areas are in the original or not. Honestly, when I play Ground War, I don't spend too much time over here in the palace because the C objective is in there, and odds are that I'm going into the palace instead of over here. But this is a very good flanking route, so you can go through this building, or you can go through that little building there, and you can go all the way through here. Again, keep your sights up coming through here, because you never know if there's going to be an enemy there. Wrap around, climb up here, go up this ladder, and you may be able to shoot enemies in the back. Hopefully, the enemies are actually spawning back here. If they're not, then it's kind of just a waste. But that is a very quick overview of that as well. But you can also go through this doorway. Again, probably I recommend opening this door and then just walking, because walking, of course, lowers your footstep sound. If you do your super sprint, your footstep sound is a lot louder than when you're running, or if you're just doing this. So I recommend that you just walk, maybe crouch around, be a little sneaky, maybe aim up, try and kill enemies up there. But again, being here, you can get shot from up there, just like what I covered on the other side of the palace. But then you can make your way through here, get upstairs, and then take some enemies out. But there we go, guys. That is going to do it for my Aniyah Incursion map guide. I will have Hovek Sawmill covered tomorrow. That is a map that I've been waiting on, of course, because it's a brand new map that I've never played before. Backlot and this map are maps that I've played a lot of times before. And of course, Hovek Sawmill is a map that I have just been introduced to. So I want to get a couple more games into that before I cover that, because I want to make these map guides as accurate as possible so that there's no confusion and everything makes sense, and you can go ahead and dominate these maps as well. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you are new, make sure to check out all my other previous map guide videos, which will be in the playlist at the end of the video, as well as my previous map guide, which was, of course, for Talsic Backlot yesterday. And I will see you guys all on another Call of Duty video very soon.